It's a record-setting electrified vehicle that led the way for Toyota Canada in April, where 48.1% is actually electrified vehicles, and both Toyota and Lexus divisions has saw a record electrification vehicle uptake last month. The electrified vehicles represent 48.2% of all Toyota's units sold in April 2023, and that is led by the RAV4 Hybrid, Corolla Hybrid, Highlander Hybrid, and the Tundra Hybrid. And we look at the Lexus division, it says 47% of all Lexus sold in April 2023 are the NX Hybrid, NX Plug-in Hybrid, and the RX Hybrid, all setting April sales records. Unfortunately, they say sales records, but I don't know how many they sold. And they're saying here now, Lexus has been the best months ever, selling 3,061 units, up 21.2% from April 2022. And the Toyota division sold 16,555 units, and that's down 7%. That hurts a bit for Toyota, right? And the total, they sold 19,616 vehicles, and that is down 3.5% in April 2022. So you can see Lexus is up 20%, Toyota down 7%, and brings that down 3.5%. So then they're saying here, the cars that are made in Canada, like the RAV4 Hybrid, the NX, RX are seeing record sales, and the RAV4 is up 21.3% in Canada. So it seems like they're doing quite well on those few models. So I've moved over to the Lexus USA spreadsheet that I have, and they have not released any press release for the April sales, but I do have information here. Let's start off with the UX. The UX, they've sold 1,426 units in April. Did not break any records, they're quite still far from 2021. But overall, when you look at the first 4 months, it's 4,618 units versus last year, 4,550, this still seems a little bit short. Move over to the IS. The IS, again, the whole year, we haven't broken any records at all, but when we scroll it over and look at it, 7,422 versus last year, 6,658, it means they've sold more ISs than last year. But when you compare that to 2021, 8,442, that's still 1,000 units under 2021 record numbers. Let's move on to the NX. So the NX, January, February, they made the best months already. But March, they were a little bit under the best month, but it was still number 2 on the list. So I think that was still okay, right? And then April, again, it's number 2 on the list of the 5 years. 5,320 NXs were delivered compared to 2021, which was the previous model year, 5,404. So that is still under 100 units less than the record. They could have been better, but unfortunately, they did not hit it. But now let's go and select the 4 months is 20,876 units. And when we look at the best year here, that's only 19,866. So that's still 1,000 units more than 2021. And then when you compare that to the best year, 58,000, let's look at that. 18,016 units. That's still 2,000 over 2019. So that actually seems to be a very good trend here, because when you look at it, the first 4 months, we've almost cleared half of what we did last year. So maybe 5 months, if they can do another 5,000, they've already done half of it. So in October timeframe, we should be seeing 50,000 units. And if that's the case, we may see a breaking year for the NX. So we'll have to see how this will continue. Hopefully no more shortages, no more things, and we'll get to a better part here. Alright, now the ES. So the ES, when you look at it, again, no breaking months here as well. 12,290 for the first 4 months, 3,611, still nowhere close. And when you look at last year, 14,055, we're still under for the ES. And importantly, now let's look at the RX. RX, the first 2 months, they were only a few under. They were a few hundred units under. March, they were too far away from their best March. And now April, they beat their 2021 best year. So they've been delivering more RXs. And that's still significant because when you look at the NX is only 50% of the RX here. And it makes sense because the RX is the best-selling vehicle Lexus has. And looking at just the first 4 months in 2022, 36,148, and this year is better than that, which means they've actually been able to maintain the previous generation, and the new generation is selling about the same. But when we look at 2021, 38,087, they're still a bit under. So hopefully this number continues, because if they can do another 10,000 in May, that actually would be a breaking month, right? So let's see how that will materialize. Okay, now let's move over to the LS. LS, again, a low selling volume number. Low, but it's still a few thousand units a year, right? Yeah, the first 4 months doesn't seem any surprising. 2019 blew it all the way. And let's just compare last year, 817 compared to 799. So I would say like for like. GX needs really a refresh, but it's still going strong. Again, no breaking months here. And let's look at 2022, 9,399 compared to 8,670. Still a bit under, but I guess the chip shouldn't impact GX as much because they don't have that many new advanced technology stuff. Until the new refresh comes upon, I think this one will be quite stable. We move over to the LC. The LC, again, no breaking months again, 565 units, low volume here. And when we look at last year, 589, and the best year, 960, we're still too far. I think that this will not be something that we can look for going to be best sellings. Somehow 2021, everybody after the pandemic decided that they need LC so that they can enjoy their life, I guess. I don't know why. It was a good year for LC in 2021, but overall, I think for now, 2023, we'll start seeing just a stable trend here. Now looking at the LX. So the LX here, we have the first 4 months at 2,348. So when you look at this number and compare it to last year, they're only 1,300 units short of last year's number. So you can see it's actually an extremely good year. And you can see that the previous was 417, and now 776 is the best all-time for April. So it does seem that the LX is now pushing forward, and they're selling a lot of them, and they're getting delivered. So looking at just the first 4 months here, 935 units compared to 2,348. That's great, right? 2021, 1,757. 2,348 is still much more. 1,020, and we look at 2019, 1,618. So 2023 looks like a good year for the LX, and we may start seeing more breaking months going forward. Now let's move over to the RC. The RC, again, another low volume vehicle similar to the LS here. And if you look at the sales, it's even lower than the LS this year, even though last year they were like neck for neck. But this year it seems to be much lower. So let's just go to this here and say 650. This is now 534. So it's still under. And then we look at the total sales, 27,171, record-breaking month April. If you look at the last 5 years, this is the best month for 2023 in April. So while we look at that, you can see here February has been a breaking month already by just a little bit, but even April is only by a little bit compared to 2021. So looking at this, I from a trend perspective, I don't think we're going to reach the 304, but if we continue to chug more things out, maybe. Let's look at 2022, 86,660. That is still this is still like a lot more, like 9,000 units more. And then when you look at 2021, 100,000 and 101,217. So we're still like 6,000 units short. Look at 2020, 64,000. That was when the pandemic hurt. It really hurt the sales. And pre-pandemic number, 86,892. So when you look at 86,000 pre-pandemic numbers, Lexus has actually now sold more than pre-pandemic with 95,000. Potentially, I would say they could chug more than 300,000 this year. It just really seems, how is the supply chain and all that going to iron out? And hopefully we will see numbers flowing better as we continue down the latter half of the year. So why did I skip the RZ and why is it highlighted in yellow? The reason why is I have not seen reports on the numbers for the RZ. What I did here was, I know that the 27,171 is accurate. I took all the numbers for April for all the models, and there was a delta of 302. So I don't know if the 302 was they sold one LFA or they sold one CT or whatever, but that was the number, that was the delta, and that was the only model left. So 302, it feels reasonable. If March was 185, 302 units seems to be quite close, and I will take that with a grain of salt, but I think that would be a good number to assume that they sold 302 BEVs in April. Since this video is about US and Canada, I couldn't leave out Canada here, right? But I do not have April numbers. The only number I have for April is the total. So unfortunately, I cannot find more about it, but I may need to wait a few months to be able to get that April, May, June, July sales breakdown. But I remember the last update I provided, I only had January numbers. So now I have February and March numbers. So we can do a quick dissect on this and see what does that mean in Canada. So let's start with the UX here. The UX again, 432. And when we look at this, 503. So we're still under this year, but not that far away. The IS, January was the best month in Canada. 188 in March, but 422 for the first 3 months, and we look at the previous year, 327. So we're selling more ISs in Canada in 2023 over 2022. We move down to the ES here. ES seems to be dragging a lot, 249 units only in the first 3 months. And when we look at the year before, 318. So it seems to be going down the drain a bit, these sedans. We move over to the NX, so you can see 3 solid bolds here. What does that mean? 2,875 units in the first 3 months. And when you look at that for last year, 14,560. So that is almost double the sales of the NX in Canada for the first 3 months. And you can see April was 816. I think when you look at this number, that they did record sales, like there's like 500 more units almost. I believe the NX will have breaking numbers in April as well. And when you look at it even at peak times, when you have bigger numbers here, 1,500, we have 1,300, nowhere close, meaning we're selling a lot more NXs in Canada than we've ever sold in the past 5 years. And let me just scroll down to the NX here. I don't think any time, even 2018 with the refresh, with 1,500, we've never sold 2,875 NXs for the first 3 months. So I'm hoping a lot of you Canadians are getting your NXs and enjoying them at this point. Now let's go to the RX. RX seems to be the similar trend here. they've actually broke the 3 months record for 2023, selling 2,778. You can see here, there's this shift that's happening. In 2021, the NX had 7,283 units. In 2021 RX, it was 10,000. But then you look at 2022, we actually sold more NXs in Canada than RXs compared to the US, which is different. But now when you look at 2023, the trend is continuing. There's 2,875 for the first 3 months and 2,778 for the first 3 months for the RX as well. When we look at it, I think it's similar trending here. We have never sold that many RXs in the first 3 months. Last year, 2,262, 1,700, again 1,700 roughly, and 1,600. So again, with the breaking numbers of looking at 3,000 units, I think the RX will probably sell the exact same amount or even more in April. LS. The LS it's another low volume. If you look at it, 6 units, they sold 9 units this year. It's already good to see already. LC, it's going down the drain as well. 8 units compared to 40 units last year. So again, similar situation. I'm going to go to RC here as well. Similar situation, 17 versus 21 here. Actually 31. It's a low volume number anyways. Moving back over here, GX. GX seems to be on the same trend as well. If you look at 218 units for the first 3 months, if you double that, it's almost a full year, right? 400 and 20 something or 30 something units already. So I am seeing that the GX probably will be doing well again in 2023. If you look at the first 3 months, 70. Here we have 92. You've never seen 218. So it seems to be a good year for the GX as well. And now go to the LX. So the LX did well in the US. But in Canada, the first 2 months, it didn't go well at all. But 158 is almost half of last year already. So maybe LX will have a record year compared to 2022, but I think it's still far, far, far away from 2019. When you look at here, 314 units, we're still half of that. And the whole year it's 1,000 units. Are we going to get 1,000 units here? Unless the trend continues to be over 100 a month, we may see matching the same numbers of 2019. Similar information for March. I have not seen the RZ numbers, but I know that 2,915 is the right number. So with that in mind, taking all the numbers, and there's 84 units left. So assuming 84 RZs were sold in Canada. I will only highlight this back into the normal color when I have it confirmed. Alrighty, so when you look at a total, the first 4 months we have 10,000 units in Canada. And normally when you look at the years we have here, the best year was actually 2021 with 25,907 units. But then record months for the past 4 months already. And you compare that to the best year, 7,515 units. So we are like 3,000 units, almost 3,000 units ahead. Do you think Canada will actually sell over 26,000 this year? Leave in the comments below and let me know. What do you think? But from the trending I'm seeing here, I think it is highly possible that we will be seeing the best year for Lexus Canada to be able to sell a record-breaking year. Will we get 30,000? I think that's going to be a little bit aggressive because when you think of this is 10,000, this is another 10,000, and we'll have to do another 10,000 to really get 30,000. But I don't think it's far because I think the RX and NX can really sell. If they really can produce them, they will have them sold, and then with that, they will be able to get 30,000 units in Canada for 2023. So hopefully by December or early January 2024, I'll be able to tell you if I'm right. But I believe my guess will be 30,000 units for Canada. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please comment, like, and share this video. If you'd like to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel and press that alert button to get notified when new videos are posted. If you'd like to support the channel, you can definitely provide a super thanks. I'll see you guys again next time in the next video.